am Mel.
And I'm Zeus.
And welcome back to the Sour Hour podcast.
I'm excited. We're keeping this going.
So today's topic is social media. A lot of people don't know, or they think we just magically grew all these followers overnight. And the fact is that we started our business through social media. And I feel like a lot of people still don't know the power. And some who do, it's their top question every time someone talks to us. It's like, how? So tell us about the power of social media and how it impacts your business.
So I think at this point, you have to believe in the power of social media. We see it everywhere. We see it with brands, with influencers, even influencers that make it up to A-list celebrity status. And even if you don't care about the fame, we see it with brands all the time. I mean, I think if you run a business, you need to care about social media because it's the way we communicate. It's the way we consume content. It's really just the new way to consume content. I think anyone that doesn't believe in it, then they better not believe in television ads because it's the same thing. We're just consuming it from a different device. The power is insane. So we have received over 3 billion views on social media not year to date, in our lifetime. We've done way more than 3 billion, but 3 billion, I can confidently say that for sure we've surpassed that. Right now, the CPM, which is your cost per thousand, right? Impressions, that just means people seeing your product if you're a business, not even people purchasing. If you want 1,000 people to see your business, it's going to cost you a minimum of $5. And CPM is dependent. It changes all the time. It depends on which platform you're advertising on. But the easiest way to see it is you're going to pay $5 for 1,000 people to hear your voice, to see your business, to hear your brand. If we take those $5 per 1,000 views and you convert in how much money would have it taken in paid ads for us to have received those 3 billion views, it's $15 million. It would have cost us $15 million to get the exposure we've received on our brand to get to where we are today.
Which we do organically, right?
Which we've done for almost free.
Yeah.
Outside the cost of creating the content, we've done it for free. We've saved $15 million by not running ads. And that's the reason startups are able to blow up, is because we have that power in our hands where before you didn't.
And what about like the people who say like, well, like you need money. I need a camera. I need a professional photographer, videographer. I need an editor. Like we didn't have a marketing company. We didn't have any of that. Like what do you say to everyone who puts all these limits on creating content?
I think that you need to take the you need to take the route of least resistance. And you need to figure out what you're good at. Not everyone is good at video, but video isn't the type of content you can create, right? I think it's the best. I think it's the one you should optimize for. But there's still blogs. There's podcasts that are audio only as well. You have the visual aspect of it, but there's people that are better at filming podcasts than creating content. I think it's figuring out what type of content you want to create.
And the thing is, it's also very different because even if you do video, it doesn't have to be like a set, edited, like perfect. I feel like there's a lot of creators that I even follow that are very raw content, like zero editing, just raw like stories or like stories, whether it's on TikTok, on Instagram stories, and even YouTube, like the vlogs. I feel like a lot of the vlogs are just raw, like they're literally just holding a camera and walking through their whole day holding the camera.
And the thing is because I think it feels real, right? We don't want to consume an ad unless you're a marketer. You love consuming ads, but you don't want to consume an ad. So the more raw it is, the less it looks like an ad, the better. And to answer the first question, you just need to take the path to least resistance. I think you don't need a camera. You can shoot on your phone. If you can't edit, team up with someone.
And almost everyone has a smartphone now, because a lot of people are like I personally don't know how to like use a camera and have the settings, but we all have iPhones and it makes it so easy. I mean, it has 4 cameras or more. I
Yeah.
think it's 4 now. But they have 4 cameras. They come with a light. Like it's just like I feel like you have it in your hand the whole time. And we always tell people like just use your phone. Like a lot of our content is filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah, most of our content's filmed on an iPhone, and I think it translates well because of the type of content we're creating. I think that if you're the type of person that just, I don't want to tell someone to edit videos if they don't want to edit videos. I understand that I've been doing it for a long time, so it comes easy to me. But we all know someone that wants to be a videographer or an editor. And I think those are the type of people you team up with, right? For the business out there who's ran by an older person, go pull a nephew or a son or daughter or a friend, someone who wants that opportunity. What I see is there's a gap, right? There's people that want a chance at becoming a videographer or an editor, and they need to build up their portfolio and they need to start somewhere. And then there's business owners that need that person. So I think that's where you need to get creative and team up. And if you're willing to learn how to film and edit, I think it's really simple. Just hop on YouTube. You could learn everything on there. I personally never went to school to learn how to edit or got into programs or courses. I just learned everything I know off of YouTube and off of working with other people. So I think, especially as we keep going, it gets easier to create content. And it's what we're getting as consumers. It's why iPhones do so well, is because of the cameras on them, the apps that come with it, CapCut, Splice. These apps are making it easier and easier to edit stuff.
So
and I
easy.
think AI is going to only further that.
Yeah.
So it really is, it comes down to just creating the content. Like, just take your camera out and shoot. It doesn't matter what you shoot. Just shoot something and post it and start there. I think just don't overcomplicate it.
And so now going to ideas, right? Like now it's like, okay, what do I post about my business? And I feel like when it comes to certain businesses, a lot of us want to make everything, including myself, right? At the beginning, I remember just like thinking like everything has to be perfect and the lighting and the outfit and the product you're promoting. But how would you say that you come up with ideas, like creative ideas and engaging ideas? Because I feel like so now going to the people who are posting, who are like trying to learn, who are trying to edit, but their content is just too slow, it's disengaging, it just, you don't even like, you just scroll by it because it's so boring. So how do you change that?
You change it by consuming other content that is actually good and accepting that your content is not good, right? Something's only good if it's serves its purpose. It doesn't matter how much how good you think your content is. If it's not getting views, it's not serving its purpose, meaning it's not good. So you need to switch something up. I could create the best video ever, but if it gets under 100 views, then I have to accept that that video sucked because it didn't serve its purpose of getting
And
my
I feel
brand
like
out
that's
there.
the hardest part because we've created content and we've put so much work into it and we're all in love with the video and the content because you put all your work and energy behind it, and then it just is like zero performing video and you're just like, wow, like that sucks because you fall in love with the work you do, you
Yeah,
know?
but you have to fall in love with the process because I think that's what makes you good, right? You have to suck at the beginning and it's what's going to make you good. I think you have to be in love with posting daily and not really anything else and just getting better every single time. But for someone that's actually trying to learn and get out there, I think search up the type of content you're trying to make and start copying good content, but just adding your own twist. I
Can
think
you give us
that's
an example of that? Like, let's say I have a flower business.
so. If you have a flower business, I would go on TikTok or YouTube and search up flowers, even Pinterest. Search up flowers, wedding flowers, phrases or words that you would resonate with your business, and look at the top content for that. What's popping up? Why is it engaging? Ask yourself those questions. Why am I watching this video and why am I not skipping away? If a video has 1 million likes, it doesn't matter how bad you might think it is, it's getting shared for a reason. And I think it's just trying to figure that out and trying to apply that to your content. Search up your business, search up the type of content you're trying to create, see what other people are doing successfully, and recreate it. I see that with people all the time recreating our content, right? And I love it. I love when people recreate our content because
We have
it's
mixed
either
feelings about that. I don't love it. I'm like, that's exactly like our video.
everything is repurposed in this world, right? They
Well,
say it's really
there's a book called Great Artists Steal, which I
yeah.
actually really like the book. But I mean, every idea is born from somewhere.
Yeah, and I think it's like we're either copying someone or someone's copying us. And a lot of the time recently we've found someone copying us, and it's like, "Oh wow, it feels amazing to be in that position because you're creating content that obviously it's original to us, but it's being pulled in from other content that we watch, right? Our ideas are like a mixture of everything else we've consumed. So at the end of the day, we are producing a remix of other stuff we've consumed with our own twist. And when I see other people copying that almost exactly, it's like, hey, they're doing a million times better than the person out there who's not getting any views. At the end of the day, I want to see people's business succeed. If you just can't get around creating original content, go copy someone's content and then start making it original little by little.
Don't come after Zeus though if they get mad. Just kidding. No, I think you just have to make it your own, right? Like add your voice, add your inspiration to it. It's just like you're taking it as an inspiration. It's not like copy it word for word either. Like don't do that. I don't feel like we've ever done that. It's like get a bunch of ideas and create a new one, or get whatever is making a person viral and recreate that, but not word for word. Like
yeah. Yeah, well, I have mixed feelings about that, right? If there's a business failing and they go copy someone word by word and it helps their business grow, then I get it. You're playing smart. We don't do that.
No, we do.
But like props to you. You figured it out. Yeah, I'd rather you be in that position than you be in a business that's shutting down. But the moment you do that, it's going to be hard to create an audience that's actually engaged with you. And I think that's a problem that we've faced in the past. We've made content that's easy to replicate, and because of that, it's not hard for other channels to pop up and create the same content, where when you do add your own twist, right, there's a benefit. Now when you do show your personality, now people are attached to you as a person and not so much just the content that could be recreated, because your personality can't be recreated as easy. So when people are actually like attracted to you as the business owner, they're going to watch you regardless of what you do. And I think that's the best place you could be in. And that's something that we've worked on shifting, is like, people love our candy making. How can we make sure they love us regardless of what we're doing? Because that's when we truly have someone's attention.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the most powerful influencers. We met an influencer back at a convention who was not the biggest influencer, but her community was so engaged with her that she said, I sell out every single time, every single thing I drop, every single thing I promote. And that kind of goes into quality versus quantity, and also your audience. Like how strong your connection is how easy you convert them as well. Because it's like, why am I going to shop? And I know I'm guilty, and I think we're all guilty. We're all influenced by somebody, whether we know it consciously or we don't. It can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can be someone online. But if I tell you, oh, this product is really, really good, you're going to go buy it. And so I think it's also, if you do have the personality for it and you create that community, there's so much power. It doesn't matter if you don't have 1 million followers. If you have 100,000 followers and they're so connected to you, those are way more valuable than someone that has 1 million. And I think we've kind of seen this with influencers, and being in the influencer space is like, there is creators that you'll see that have 10 million followers or subscribers, and they don't convert. They don't make one single sale. And just because somebody has millions of followers doesn't mean they're loyal followers.
No, that's true. And I mean, we see that all the time. We test content all the time. And I think it just depends what you want your content to do, right? Like, what's the purpose of your content? If you're a local business where people could only shop local, then you want to create content that relates to locals or people traveling to that city. Um, it's nice to get a big reach, but at the end of the day, if someone can only book your services if they live in a certain city, then you really want to market to that city. You
Yeah.
want to tag your location, you want to talk about that city, because then it's actually going to convert if that's your purpose. If you're trying to reach the biggest audience you could reach, then you optimize for that. But I think it's trying to figure out what's the purpose behind you creating content, and then making it a game of, hey, this is about me posting every day and getting better and nothing else, because it is hard to create content if
I
you've
also
never done
feel
it
like
before.
some people have an idea where, like, if we, and this is not to be like mean in any way, but we've had multiple people come up to us and be like, hey, can you make a video for us, like for your channel, right? Whether, I mean, and most of the time it's something completely unrelated to candy. If it's candy or food, we always kind of like try to mix it into our products, but it kind of sounds weird, but we're like, oh, well, it's just because we post a video doesn't mean you're going to sell out of your product just because we post it, because our audience watches us for candy making. And if I go and promote a notebook or a piece of clothing, it's not going to do well, because it's not who our, like, what our audience is here for, and it's going to confuse our audience. And also, just going back to what you said, like, our audience is focused on candy, and we sell like nationwide and worldwide, mainly in the US. And so sometimes with local businesses, it's hard to also promote, because we don't have just a Utah audience. We have, like, I think our biggest states are out of Utah. It's like,
Yeah.
so like, how do you kind of explain that? Because I feel like it's hard to transcribe that to some people, but it's not always like, oh, if you post one time, it's going to go magic and that's going to be it. Like, it's not about the one time posting.
I saw a video that explained it really well, but it basically said if every day you have a chance at winning the lottery and all you have to do is spin the wheel, would you spin it every day?
Yeah, probably, if it was free.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the perfect metaphor for social media is social media is free, and you do have a chance every day at creating that content. I don't think you should focus on that one piece of content that could change your life, but I think you should post every single day and know that one piece of content could change your life. And that's the truth, because we've seen it before. One video could turn your life around. Like, one video could get you booked, get your product purchased, go get your product to go viral. We've seen products go viral that wouldn't have gone viral if it weren't for social media. I think if you look at our business, we looked at freeze-dried candy. If it weren't for social media, freeze-dried candy would have never sold the way it sold. And there's a lot of brands, a lot of companies that went viral. Some people call it luck, but it goes back to those people are probably spinning the wheel every single day. If one piece of content can change your life, then might as well post every single day, because you might get there, right? We create a lot of content, and we really only need a small percentage of those to be home runs for us to make a big impact.
And now, switching back to speaking to videographers and editors, or people who are already creating content, I feel like, and we've seen this too as we bring people into our team, because videographers love, right? Now we're changing from business owner, someone who doesn't know how to edit, to someone who does and knows about cameras. They love the cinematic shots. They love using cameras and being able to use all the features, the editing softwares. They're just so passionate about content creation and kind of like the movie making part of it, even though it's not always a movie. How do you talk to those people? Because I know there's so many also like creative people who are talented in these skills, and no matter what they do, because they have the skills, their content does not perform. It gets 0 views. And I think a lot of it is like you're focused so much on the quality versus the quantity or the engagement of the content.
I think the most important thing is serving your audience, whoever that might be, right? If you're not serving your audience, it doesn't matter what you do on the back end. it's not going to have a positive ROI. And that's just the truth. So I personally come from a background where my dream was to be a filmmaker at one point, right? I loved cameras. I loved stabilizers. I loved getting cinematic shots. And I ended up going viral off of footage that I was filming on my iPhone. And for a while, it hurt my ego because I spent so much money on cameras. I spent so much money on equipment. I spent so much time filming something, taking it out of an SD card, putting it on a computer, weeks sometimes, to produce something that wouldn't reach an audience. And then I'd come on my iPhone, film something that I thought was fun, post it that same day, and I'd get a 1000x reach. And to me at the beginning, it's like, you want to be cinematic, you want to produce good quality content. It doesn't mean you can't produce good quality content. But at the end of the day, you have to serve your audience. If you're filming videos for social media and it's too cinematic, and the purpose of that content is to promote a business, it's not going to get any views because people are going to think it's an ad. Right? I think there's a lot more than just filming skills when it comes to social media. It's not just about your filmmaking skills. It's about your retention skills. Can you grab someone's attention and keep it on a video long enough? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good you think your video is. If you can't get someone to watch it, they're never going to watch it. And we've seen that with movies before. I think one of the movies that I love the best, not the actual movie itself, but just the story behind it, is the Blair Witch Project, a movie that was filmed at a really low budget, beats movies that were filmed at a really high budget. And when you look at that ROI, yeah, and that's just because they captured their audience attention, they kept it, and it went viral regardless of what it was shot on. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you shot on. It matters whose attention did you grab and did you entertain people.
And sometimes it feels more real when the content is a little raw. You know, it's a little messy. You know, you can tell someone's being like honest. It's not super scripted. And I feel like I even connect with that type of content too. There's shows that have been created recently that you can tell they were low budget, and then you can see the high budget with the outfits and the makeup and the lighting. But those shows are outperforming the high production shows and TV shows and all of these things. And I think that's why there's a shift as well on TV, because people are, we're tired of seeing the picture perfect.
Yeah, and there is some like really high production shows that do amazing, right? And I think it's just like everything serves its audience. I think it depends who you're shooting for. If your goal is to be a filmmaker and shoot a high production movie like the Avatar, then there's a place for that. But if you're a videographer with the dream to create a marketing company and you want to go market for other businesses, you have to drop the filmmaking. You have to be willing to pick up an iPhone, shoot vertical, and shoot for an audience, and not shoot because you think you're making a movie, right? If you're not making a movie, then you don't fall under the line of that.
That's
you
so
need
true.
you need to go shoot for social media. You're either shooting for social media or you're shooting for cinema, and you can't be in between. I used to be a videographer who would go shoot a real estate video, and I'd shoot it like I was shooting a movie. I'd call myself a cinematographer, and I really was just a videographer making real estate videos, and I was shooting them like a movie. They'd get no views, people would love them, and then their business would perform bad. And I think that was the hardest part about owning a marketing company and not knowing that. If you were to hire me to come make a video for your business, I'd probably show up with an iPhone. And that's just the truth. If the purpose is to try to go viral, because I'm going to optimize for that. I'm not going to optimize for a movie making. Now, if you want to go make a short film or something, then it's a totally different story.
And I feel like it's also getting out of your comfort zone. I remember coming from like a retail background, and like it was just very like black and white, I would call it, because it wasn't colorful like candy. And I remember like filming, because there's a lot of people too who like don't like being on camera, and I feel like that wasn't necessarily my problem. Like I did not like being in camera, but it was more so like I felt silly promoting candy on camera as an adult, and I was like, what are my high school friends gonna say, and what is my family gonna say, or what if somebody sees me? Like, that's so embarrassing, you know? And I feel like the good thing is, like, I didn't let those obstacles stop me. They definitely were a barrier at first. Like I felt very uncomfortable sometimes filming just because it wasn't who I was as a person. Like it was, we created content for kids, and so it was like excitement and different energy, and it's not like I talk like that all the time. And I think it's just important for people to understand, like, it doesn't matter what anybody else is going to think about you. If your content is making you money, who cares what they say?
Even if it's not making you money, right? Like,
Yeah.
screw what other people think at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Because I know for me, I was like, that was my insecurity. It was like, oh, well, I look silly eating candy on camera, or it's not the cool thing for a girl my age or a woman my age to be posting that type of content. It's like, oh, I would much rather be making like a fashion video or a makeup video. You know, everybody wants like the perfect, you know, like, oh, fly me to New York, go to Fashion Week. But really, I mean, this has given me the life I wanted and has grown a community that I didn't even know that existed. And so it's been so fun.
We all want to create content, the most of us, the majority of us. If we don't, we want our business to succeed. Go out there and do it. I think just block everyone out. I'm sure people talked about me when I was eating candy on video, but
They still talk about you.
now they talk about me and they're like, oh, how are you getting so many views, right? But it starts somewhere. Like, it starts somewhere. Just go out there, make content. We consume so much content as consumers throughout one day that you forget about what you watched, right?
That's so true.
No one's going to think about you. Everyone's thinking about them.
Yeah, it's also so fast. We're like, yeah, no one's going to dwell on your page for like hours.
And if they do, then you're doing something right.
Yeah. And if you do, props to you because you have them on there that long. Okay, so the $1,000 question that everybody asks: how do you make viral content? Is there a secret? What is it?
Viral content, a book that I can recommend that I think explains this really well is Contagious. It talks about why things catch on, why things go viral. There's different reasons why things go viral. At the end of the day, it comes down to it's shareable, right? People want to share it. They want to share what they saw, and it catches on. So viral content is something that wants to be shared. I think the best way to look at it is, and I do this all the time, I like watching other people watch social media because I like to see what videos they stop on. So it sounds kind of weird, but when you're on TikTok, I like watching you watch TikToks because then I'll see what video you stopped on.
You say I fall for the story times all the time.
You do fall for the story times, and it's interesting to me to watch what other people stop on and what caught your attention. Viral content is something that other people want to watch and share with their friends. I think the best way you can think about it is go to all the content you've shared to someone and genuinely think, why did I share this? Or think about the content that you saved and think, why did I save this? And I love doing that with myself, right? I'll catch myself sending a video and I'm like, I sent this for a reason. Viral content is either content that's spreading news, whether it's real news or fake news, whether it's good news or bad news. You want to share it because you want to let others know about what's happening in the world. The other type of content we have is entertainment. Something's funny is, I feel like, one of the most obvious ones.
And like relatable. I've seen a lot of like mimicking moms, mimicking dads, or mimicking like even jobs, like certain the way people act at certain jobs, like leasing people at apartment complexes or like retail managers, which was like so relatable to me. I just saw that one yesterday with this girl was like pretending to be a store manager, and I was like, oh my god, this is hilarious, just because you relate to it and it's entertainment because it's like a skit, but you want to share it because then I send it to all the friends I used to work retail with.
Yeah, and it's relatable. I think that's a really good point, and that's the reason that you're sharing it with. The other type of content is information, is content that's teaching you something, educational content, right? Content that's teaching you how to do something or you're learning something.
Recipes. I honestly, when TikTok was down for like that day, I was like, what am I going to make today? Because it's literally like my Food Network. Like I go on it and I'm like, okay, recipes for whatever's in the fridge.
Yeah, or information at the end of the day, right? I think I was mixing those up too a little bit, but information, things that maybe you want something to do this weekend in Salt Lake City. So there's information about what to do, but at the end of the day, each piece of content is serving a purpose. And to try to make this as simple as possible, when someone asks, how do you make viral content? I think you have to try to make a video that other people would watch. And you do that again by consuming first. Go look at videos that are already being shared, that people are already liking, and try to recreate something similar.
And I think also a lot of people are scared to show how they do things. So, like, we're going back to like the florist, since we're using that example. Let's say I don't want to show, I make flowers locally, and I don't want to show people how I make them because people are going to copy me, or they're going to think my work is invaluable, maybe. And you said something once, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so good. And you said, like, it's not that easy to copy. Like, if you share something, like, it's not as easy as it seems for someone to replicate it.
Yeah, no, and that's true. I think a lot of people are worried about getting copied by competitors. I understand that there is things that you might not want to show, but it's not easy to copy. Even our content, right? Will show us making content, and at the end of the day, I look at it and I'm like, whoever copies it, props to them because that took a lot of work. But I don't think that should be your main focus. I think go out there and create content. You can also get creative. You don't have to show your process, but you could show a result. If you're a flower company, you could make a video every day where you give free flowers to someone to make them happy, right? Giving flowers to a stranger every day for 100 days.
I love that. See, that's something I would watch, because then I would like get my heart, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so there's many things you could do. You could do that. You could show the process of growing the flowers. You could tell your story and do voiceovers. You could do day in the life as a business owner. I think just go on social media, search up your niche or your business, see what content's already going viral, and start brainstorming ideas. And it's really just start creating. I've been creating content since 2009, I think. And it's just every piece of content that I've ever made has led me to this. And I think it's just, they say like it takes 10 years to become an expert at something. I used to never believe that. I think I believe it more and more every day just because of how long I've been creating content. It's like I had to get good at it, right?
Also, the misconception, everybody thinks like you make money the minute you post, or like the minute you get a couple thousand views. I think a lot of people ask us that too. It's like, oh, like, how much you get paid? Like, do you make a lot of money? Like, is that how you like funded your business? But we actually didn't make money off of our content for the first 3 years of the business.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 2024 where it actually started producing money. And I guess in a way, it always kind of made us money, because obviously the content drove the sales, but it wasn't just the content. We really were like investing, right, our time and our resources to making content. And then for 3 years we posted consistently, and we didn't get paid for it, like, directly. No matter how many views we got thousands and millions of views. I mean, during COVID, we were hitting 1 million views in a video, and there was no money there. And so now, fast forward 4 years, yes, we do get paid, but I also don't think it's how much people think we get paid. I think most people think you make $1 for every million. And if that was the case, we'd be absolutely rich, because if
What do
we
you
have
get?
3 billion views, and that means we'd have $3 billion in the bank, and we don't.
If we got $1 for every view, yeah, I think we do get 1,000 for
No,
every million. No. Oh no, well no, because it's different social media platforms. Obviously,
Yeah.
it depends. That'd be sick if we did. Even now, sometimes we're not profitable just because we keep reinvesting and we want to grow, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's months where we do really well. There's months where we don't do so well, but we're constantly investing in trying to create more content and a bigger like media company.
Yeah, and I think, though, as a business, or as a content creator, like, your goal is to create engaging content, not to get paid initially. That's what I feel, right? Like, obviously the end goal would be to get paid from every single channel and every single post we do, but that's not always the case, and that's okay, because that builds momentums, it builds credibility, because now you have a profile with many, like, when I find a creator that I like, then I go into their page and I scroll and I go through all of their videos. And so we have, I mean, you can go back to 2020 videos from us that we've posted. And so just don't just focus on like, oh, how much am I going to get paid? It's like, first create engaging content and then focus on getting paid.
Yeah. I also don't think you need a big team. For everyone out there putting all these obstacles in front of them, I don't think you need a big team. I think you just need one person, if anybody. There's a lot of content creators that it's just them. They film their own videos, they edit their own videos, and they're making a lot of money because
And
they're.
I feel like so many people think it's easy. I see some people do hate on like influencers or, you know, people who post silly content, because they're like, oh, it's so dumb, you know, but those people are so successful. Like, I see some of the girls, because I've obviously, like, we live in it. I see how much work it takes. I see how long it takes, even if you're filming on your iPhone and you're editing. And I'm just like, wow, like, they are really, like, putting in the work, because it may look like a simple video, but they did put thought into it. They edited it, and the consistency, it's hard to be consistent. Obviously, life gets in the way. There's people who start making content who have a job. There's people who have a business and also make content. There's so many scenarios. There's moms who have multiple kids and make content. And so I feel like all of these limitations, there's always an example of someone like you out there, whether you're a busy mom, a busy business owner, or a college student. I mean, there's people out there in your same situation that are doing it. So it's possible.
And I think this is controversial, but no one works harder than influencers. And that's the truth. Like, no one works harder than these creators. I've worked around creators for a really long time. It's not my fault. They work smarter than you, but no one works harder than them. And I've been a content creator for a long time. Right now, we obviously run a business, but as a full-time content creator, there's content creators that wake up, they look for a trend, they look for what idea to do that day or that week, or what their next season is of their content. They go out there, they shoot the content, they edit the content, they post it, which could take a whole day, even weeks, just doing that alone. They're posting on different social media apps. Social media is constantly changing, right? We went from blogs to photos to videos, then vertical video, then shorts. Then shorts were limited to 15 seconds, then 30 seconds, then 60 seconds. Right now there's 3-minute shorts. I think there's up to 1 hour shorts, if I'm not mistaken. It's constantly changing. You're constantly trying to figure it out. You keep posting content, you keep chasing the next trend or trying to create something new. And you have to do that every single day. If not, you become irrelevant. And I think no one works harder than creators. And I think the word influencer has a bad rep to it, because there is people that try to leverage it too much. But at the end of the day, they're content creators and no one's working harder than them. And that's why they're the ones out there making the most money, because they have everyone's attention. I think attention is the most important thing in today's world.
And attention through social media specifically. You said, like, it's way, it was kind of like something within the words of like, there's way more money in attention than in physical money, because I can sit here with, let's just say, thousands of dollars in my hands, but at the end of the day, if I don't have people's attentions, they're worthless.
Yeah, and for people so an excuse that I hear a lot that I want to touch on actually is, a lot of people say, I'll start creating content when I launch my business. We created content way before the business was launched. I think you want to create that audience before you launch that business. Some people are exceptions because they're celebrities and they gain their audience through other ways. But when you look at people like Kylie Jenner, Conor McGregor, The Rock, they obviously had an audience outside of social media. They brought it into social media. They were able to harvest that audience, grow it, and now translate that audience from television to social media, which in like that in itself, it's not the easiest thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then the moment they launch a product,
because not every single celebrity has a lot of followers. I've actually seen celebrities that from my favorite shows, and they have like less than 100,000 followers, and it's just like everybody thinks, oh, just because you're famous, it's easy to like, have a
Yeah.
lot of followers, but it's not. There are a lot of celebrities and also some that like to keep their life more low key, but there's a lot of celebrities that don't have a lot of following, like big celebrities.
Yeah, and we even see it when social media platforms shut down. When we saw Vine shut down, even if we see TikTok shut down one day, right? It's like not every creator is going to be able to take their audience into the next platform, and it's a whole different skill of it on its own.
So that's my next question. So is there a certain platform you recommend someone starting in? Should they post on every single
I
platform?
think you need to post on every single platform, right? We post on every single, and when I say every single one, I mean every single one. I remember launching a Pinterest and thinking, I don't know. I don't think our content belongs on Pinterest personally. We started posting it on Pinterest. I think right now our Pinterest gets around 10 million views a month, which is not bad.
Yeah.
It's really good actually, and I actually need to go in there and study it a little more, but I'd say post your content everywhere. TikTok was our biggest platform for a long time, and now it's YouTube. And that would have never happened if we didn't start posting on YouTube. The hardest part about making content is making the content itself. So once you have it made, post it everywhere. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So to reiterate, like you post the same content on all platforms.
Yes.
Awesome. See, so it's easy, guys. Just create the content and then just post it on all of them.
I think that's the hardest part. I don't know what a good. Mel's telling me not to eat candy, but I want to eat candy. I'm just gonna eat one. It's our gummy ghost, blue raspberry.
You're gonna be chewing while we're filming this.
I'm gonna eat it fast. I'm gonna eat it really fast.
Don't choke. So post on every single platform. What about algorithms? Like, do you think you pay attention to algorithms? Because I honestly feel like we don't really pay attention. I'm always like, can we do this trend? Can we do this trend? But I feel like you don't really focus on algorithms a lot, which some people talk about a lot.
Yeah, I think something that I heard really that I really liked. I think it was Mr. Beast that said it, but he said you need to replace the word. I don't know if it was him or not, but I'll quote him. He's one of the best in the games at it. He said replace the word algorithm with audience. The algorithm is the audience. At the end of the day, don't blame anything else besides your like sucky content. If it's not getting views, it's not getting views because it's not getting views. I've posted videos at 3 a.m. I've posted videos at 6 p.m. I'll post a video when it's done. And that's just the truth. It's you can optimize for a better time to post. You can optimize for better things, which I think you should. But if a video is going to go viral, at the end of the day, it's going to go viral. If content's good, it's going to get watched.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another thing because you'll see social media videos or how to post on social media, like post at a certain time and, post like this is best for the algorithm. But I feel like we've never followed that. Like we don't post at a certain time. We, like you said, we post whenever the video's ready. And even before, like sometimes we'll post more on Mondays and then sometimes more on like Fridays, and it just depends. Like when the content's there, just put it out there. And there's been times where we have multiple content and we put it all out at once. Like we don't wait to slowly post it for the most part unless it's like a prepped schedule ahead of time. But initially, like we really were just and I feel like running the business as well as a business owners, before we had a media team, it was just Zeus and I, and we would literally like work the whole day and then we would film content. Like there was multiple nights where we were filming content at 2 a.m. Like we were eating candy and filming a YouTube video at 2 a.m. and it's just like it was a non-negotiable. And I feel like that's kind of how it is with influencers. It's like it's something you must do. It's like if you ship orders, you can't go through the day and not ship your customers orders. So it's the same thing. You can't go through the day and not post some piece of content because people are going to forget about you. And the moment they forget about you, they're going to choose someone else to like look at.
No, that's very true. That's really true.
So
I finished my candy.
So how do you then now drive sales? So I've built an audience, and how do I like sell them my product now? Like people are watching.
That's a hard question. That's $1 million question. I think the way that you sell them your product is it depends what you've built your audience around. If you've built your audience around flowers, then it should be easier to sell them a product that revolves around flowers. If you have a large audience around the US and you're a local flower shop, I think try to figure out ways that you could serve that audience. There's a lot of different ways, and I think there's a difference between content creation and business. There's a lot of content creators that are not good at business, and there's a lot of business people, owners, that are not good at content creation. And I think if you can do both, you're a unicorn almost.
And we even see it with big companies. I know sometimes we see big candy companies and we look at their content. We're like, this is like the worst piece of content we've ever seen. And they have millions and millions of dollars in budget.
We create better content than Mars, Melendez, like the platforms that run Sour Patch. I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at their content. I like Sour Patch Kids content. Everyone else in the candy industry, companies with billions of dollars, are not getting anywhere near the views we're getting, even with their paid content. And that's just the truth. We're better than
they're using a marketing company. No, just kidding.
And that's just the truth. Like we're creating content that's a million times better than a lot of these companies with budgets, right? So I deserve a raise. And
please donate to your GoFundMe.
And I think the way you sell people is try to come up with a unique product. I think the best thing you could do is ask your audience what they want. And at the end of the day, it's like,
us so much.
Yeah,
actually,
ask them
like,
what they want.
Sometimes it's like, what should we do? And then we're like, oh, let's ask our followers what they want to see. Like that, with launching our product last year, we were like, what flavor should we make it? And we did a poll. We literally did polls on our, I think it was like on multiple social media platforms. And we're like, what's your top candy flavor? What do you prefer? Like sweet or sour, you know? And so they literally told us what to make, and it made it so much easier because we didn't have to, and that's the thing too. Like we didn't have to pay for all this market research because we have access to this community who will give us the information we need. How old are you guys? What do you guys like watching? Who's your favorite? We've asked them, who's your favorite creator, so we can go see their content and see what they're posting. So yeah, that's really good advice. So that's something we've definitely implemented and something that's helped us too. And then YouTube also shows you what other like people are watching or what creators your audience is also watching aside from you.
And I think the easiest thing you could do is set a challenge for yourself where you say, I'm going to create one piece of content per day. I'm not going to miss a post. I'm going to go study other videos in my industry by consuming. Shouldn't be hard to consume. We're already addicted to the platforms. Now just start watching content that you want to make instead of watching everything else that's rotting you. That's brain rot. Go watch content that you want to make. Go try to replicate it. Post it no matter how good or bad it is. Look at your analytics and hang out with people that want to do the same thing, or team up with videographers or people that want to be in the same industry. Attend conventions, attend trade shows, attend events, become a part of everything and just consume your mind with content creation.
And I also think like you really like, we consume so much, like we can scroll for hours on social media, but use that time that you're using also to scroll. Don't just scroll for hours, like scroll for like maybe 20-30 minutes and then go create content. Like literally stop scrolling, like create more than you consume in a way. Obviously that's going to be impossible, but kind of think of it that way, where like, okay, I'm gonna try to post more than I watch, right? Which is going to be a really big challenge because we scroll for hours, but it's just like, it's also like scrolling for 2 hours and seeing what other people are doing. But then if you never go out and create the content, isn't going to do anything for you.
Yeah. And I think 99% of people should not hire a marketing agency. That's just the truth. Marketing agency is going to overprice their services. It's not guaranteed that they're going to make you go viral. They're going to sell. I think there is really good agencies out there, right? But 99% of people shouldn't be going out and hiring agencies. And go hire a videographer.
Yeah, most of them don't even, honestly, we've seen so many marketing agencies. We get people who reach out to us every day. Like, we'd love to manage your social media. Like, we don't need you to manage our social media. We're fine. Thank you very much. But honestly, like, if you're like, no, I really want to hire a marketing company, look at their content. How many viral posts do they have? Because literally 99% of them have 0 viral posts.
Yeah, no, that's the truth.
So, yeah, we're not big marketing companies. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Sour Hour podcast. I hope you guys learned something. This is like the question we get asked the most. So I really wanted to just pick his brain for you guys, give you guys all the social media answers. And I hope this inspires you guys. This helps your business. And if it does, please let me know. Share your pages down below so we can check out your content and maybe critique it.
Yeah, I think ask questions of what you want answered. And if I could leave you with anything, is the last thing you should be worried about is what other people think about you.